When Dragon Ball Super revealed that there were actually 18 universes originally and that 6 were destroyed by the Omni King at some point in the distant past, it became one of the biggest talking points among the fandom because it is to this day an unsolved mystery. What happened to these universes? Why did Zeno destroy them? What was the reason behind their destruction? And were they brought back in secret at the end of Dragon Ball Super when 17 made the wish to restore the universes? Were 13 through 18 also brought back? All of these questions have been posed non-stop since the end of Dragon Ball Super. On this edition of Dragon Ball Mysteries, we're going to discuss one possible scenario. Was there a rebellion against the throne of Zeno? Were these universes polluted with so much evil that Zeno felt he had to wipe them away from existence in order to cleanse the multiverse? That's what we're talking about today on Dragon Ball Mysteries. The thumbnail for this video was done by Dead Dark. Check out his website at deaddarkshop.bigcartel.com where you can pick up some really awesome custom art and custom prints from Dragon Ball and other pieces of merchandise as well. The dude is an incredible artist and there's so much here to check out. deaddarkshop.bigcartel.com. Check it out. And yeah, one of the most talented artists in our fandom. Check him out. Thank you. What we know as of right now is that the Omni King is the highest in the god hierarchy. I discussed in the past the possibility of there being a higher god, whether it be Zalama or somebody even higher than him, but right now what we know for certain is that the Omni King sits at the throne of the multiverse. The idea of a rebellion against God is one that has been explored not just in Lord of the Rings or even the Bible discusses a rebellion against God, but also in Dragon Ball itself. The quest for power is the motivation behind a lot of characters in Dragon Ball, both on the good side and on the bad side. And men who are powerful always want more power, and those with power are always afraid to lose their power. Going all the way back to the Red Ribbon Army wanting world domination, or even King Piccolo wanting to become the ruler of the world, the king of the world. And if you go a step further, Garlic Jr. and his father, Garlic, in the lore behind Dragon Ball Z Movie 1, rebelled against the god of Earth, Kami-sama, many centuries ago. It's been discussed. In Dragon Ball Super, there are several moments where Frieza himself discusses wanting the Omni King's power and wanting more power once he was able to become more familiar with the higher gods beyond just Beerus. If you explore some of the extra stuff in Dragon Ball Heroes also, you find out things like the Demon Realm having a rebellion against Kronoa, the Supreme Kai of Time, and that becoming a conflict that is still being fought to this day in the Dragon Ball Heroes universe of games and, of course, manga. And before you say that's non-canon, this is more so just an example, an illustration that there is a precedent for these sort of interstellar cosmic wars amongst the gods. Even in the original Dragon Ball manga, the battle against Majin Buu was sort of like that because the warlocks Babidi and Bibidi used Majin Buu as their main weapon for the purpose of conquering the world of the Supreme Kais. Same thing goes with Moro. He wants absolute godly power from the realm of the gods. When you examine the character of Zeno, you come to realize very fast that he's different from a lot of other kings and emperors, not just in Dragon Ball, but in all fiction and even fact. He's very childlike. He sort of is a child in a way, despite being alive for hundreds of years, maybe even thousands of years. Zeno is also supremely powerful, but he's also a character that is one who seems to be righteous in a way. And even though he may not have a truly deep understanding of good and evil, he certainly seems to have an understanding of what's right and wrong to a degree. He formed a bond with Goku initially out of respect for Goku as a fighter and his need to be entertained, but as the series progressed, it felt much more like there was an actual kinship there between Goku and the Omni King. The Omni King has shown on two separate occasions that he is a character with good intentions that doesn't appear to be evil. The first real example of this is when Zamasu tried to become one with the universe, polluting it and reshaping it in his own image until Zeno stepped in and pretty much cleansed the entire future timeline by wiping the slate clean and cleansing the entire multiverse of Zeno as well as the universe that he had become one with. Zeno had no choice but to just destroy everything because his power had gone too far. In a previous edition of Dragon Ball Mysteries, I did discuss that Zeno's power seems to be rivaled by the Super Dragon Balls, but in this instance, Zeno was able to destroy a being that was made immortal by those same Super Dragon Balls. So the rules seem to be a little bit sketch when it comes to figuring out who has truly more power. Then, in the Tournament of Power arc, we find out at the very end that Zeno actually was hoping that the universe that won would make the right wish and bring back the other universes, or else he would be very angry and just wipe everybody out. So Zeno might be quick on the trigger, but he tries to find the good in mortals, but also commits acts where a lot of times innocent people have to be destroyed for the greater message. It does mirror a lot of mythological gods in the past. If one person in a village pisses off a god, the god may wipe away the entire village with the innocents being there as well. That's kind of how Zeno is. That's just the way it seems. So how does that lead us into Universe 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, and 18? There are implications told to us by Whis that Zeno destroyed those universes out of anger. There were originally 18 universes. Zeno wiped away 6 and never brought them back. It is unspecified as far as when this event occurred. We don't know if it was hundreds of years or thousands of years before the timeline of Dragon Ball, but we do know the events happened, and the question is why. Is it really out of the realm of possibility that there may have been a universal rebellion against Zeno for the throne of Zeno? Like I stated earlier, we saw that Frieza and other characters desire great power, and it would make sense that there may have been some sort of rebellion, possibly caused by some kind of evil character who was selfish and wanted absolute power, and this character may have polluted the other universes to the point where Zeno said, screw it, I'm just gonna have to wipe all of you away. But it seems to me like this had to have been some sort of grand event and not just them being disrespectful to the Omni King for him to have wiped away the entirety of the universes and never brought them back. Zeno can make you disappear in the blink of an eye. Why would he destroy entire universes? To me, it sounds like something major happened. It sounds to me like there was some form of rebellion or something where these universes became so evil and so filled with sin, for lack of a better term, that Zeno felt the need to do what he needed to do. Now, who could have been behind this rebellion? Some would say maybe the demon realm. Some would say possibly just some kind of evil, maybe polluted god like a Zamasu who got selfish. But to me, the entity that I think may have actually been the cause of this rebellion could have been an ancient Makai Ocean. Now, I did an entire video discussing the Makai Ocean, and many of us have kind of come to the conclusion that Toriyama dropped this idea. But essentially, Toriyama at one point discussed how there were evil versions of the Kaioshin called the Makai Oceans. These are not gods of destruction or angels. These are literally the inverse of a god of creation, an evil god of creation who creates havoc and misery and mischief. But we have yet to see an actual Makai Ocean in the Dragon Ball world. I did do a video discussing Makai Ocean, so please watch that if you have not, and I go into explicit detail there about the stories that Toriyama told us, and there's not much really to reference there. But from my perspective, it makes the most sense that this rebellion was caused by a Makai Ocean who had to have some sort of knowledge of the god hierarchy. Obviously, a Makai Ocean is a god, so this god had to have knowledge of Zeno and of the Grand Minister and the entire god hierarchy enough to have caused a rebellion, possibly with other gods. If you study the Bible, you know that Lucifer himself, the most beautiful angel, rebelled against God in the Old Testament, and he of course would become the devil. That's the primary sort of interpretation of what happened in that book. Well, that idea doesn't seem to be too far-fetched from here. We obviously had lots of theories going around when Super was on the air about the possibility of the angels and the Grand Priest being secretly evil, but this to me makes even more sense because the Makai Ocean are inherently evil. Now, when Toriyama first discussed the Makai Ocean, he never went into detail about how strong they were physically. We don't know if they are on the level of gods of creation, the regular Kaioshin, or maybe above them like the gods of destruction. We do not know because we have not seen a Makai Ocean in the series yet. And it's almost like a dropped concept, like Toriyama just dropped it and came up with Beerus to be sort of the counter to the Kaioshin, except that the Makai are actually evil, whereas Beerus isn't really evil despite being a destroyer. But if the Makai are not as strong as the angels or even the gods of destruction, then possibly their mentality behind this rebellion could have been to get other gods or other Makai to turn against Zeno and sort of have a strength in numbers type situation happen. Now obviously that's not going to work because Zeno with the blink of an eye can wipe you out, and that's exactly what he did. But possibly these Makai became so arrogant and so full of themselves that they did not understand the true power of God, aka Zeno. They had no idea they were under the mercy of Zeno no matter what because of the difference in power, and that Zeno can wipe away entire universes in the blink of an eye, and because of that they wound up taking the huge fat L and being wiped away from existence. Now, obviously, this is just a theory, something I was thinking about late at night, and one I wanted to share with all of you that I think could possibly explain what happened to those universes. But of course, then the mystery is, where are the Makai? Will Toriyama ever introduce the Makai? Are they the reason behind this rebellion if it happened? Are they the reason that Universe 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, and 18 were destroyed by Zeno? And not just destroyed, but Zeno had to reform the entire Omniverse, or at least we assume it was Zeno, because now the twin universes are only counted from the original 12. So we have 6 and 7, 1 and 12. You know how this works by now. But if you have 18, then that would mean that it would be universe 1 and 18, 2 and 17, etc., that would be linked together. So the bond between the universes had to have been broken and reshaped into the way that the status is right now. Remember to leave a like for the YouTube algorithm and let me know in the comments, do you think there is a rebellion? And if so, tell me who you think is behind it. And if not, then tell me what your main theory is as to why Zeno felt the need to destroy these universes and never even consider bringing them back. Thank you for watching Dragon Ball Mysteries, and I'll catch you in the next one.